Okay, here we are with another episode of Front of the Class, real stories from real educators. Our real educator today is coming at us from across the world in China, Cici Chen. And Cici, can you please introduce yourself as you would to other educators? How do you do that? Like, what do you like to say about yourself? Maybe how long you've been teaching? What do you teach? Where? What do kids expect in your class? However you'd like to introduce yourself. How do you introduce yourself to other educators?
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Cici Chen. I'm from Shanghai, China. This is my first time actually to have a podcast, so I'm quite excited. And now I work in a bilingual school in Shanghai, and it is an international stream. So we are teaching PYP curriculum, and I am a teacher with 14 years experience, so quite a really long time. I'm very experienced, I will say. So I think my teaching philosophy is I think I want my kids, first, my students, to have fun in class because I usually teach younger students. So I make sure they really like my class. The most like a good sentence I want to hear from my students is, wow, I really like Miss Cici's class. That I think is the best compliment for me. That means I really had a good lesson with my student. And I will also say, I think I did it. In my school, I have a lot of fans. They really like me.
And you mentioned you really want to make sure that kids are having fun in your class. How do you do that? What are
Yeah.
some examples of ways that you bring fun into the classroom? Are there any games? Are there
Mm.
like how do you go about doing that? How do you infuse some of fun into your classroom?
Okay, I think actually it also changed and developed. There are several stages. When I was a young teacher, I know I want to make sure my students are having fun time, so I usually designed a lot of games in my class. I always think, don't let my student feel bored, right? This is the most important things. So games is very important when I teaching some content. Always think of to integrate some games. But later I noticed but learning is not just about games. Now I learned more and more different strategies. I can see, except about giving students some games with teaching, I also really need to see my student, what they need and what they really lack of, they want me to teach them. So I will provide different, like we will say differentiation to our students. When the students, they feel, okay, I can do it, or I can a little bit challenge myself. Then I struggled a little bit. I made it. I think this is also a really fun moment or achieve moment for my student. So now I think I move to the next stage. Not only provide the games for my student, I provide the suitable activities for different students because I see my student. I know what do they need. And also, I think I try to understand the students. What do they really like? The age. I'm also a mom of a 8-year-old boy. So I know the students, they want something. For example, in my school, we have the extra curriculum activities. We call the ECA. So in that curriculum, usually teacher will do some fun activity. And I remember 3 years ago, our school just opened a baking room. When I see that room opened, I just have that like mind in my brain. I just say I want to do a baking class. One reason is I like baking in my free time, and the other reason is I know the kids will like it. At the beginning, there are a lot of challenges because in my school, no one do that baking class before. I need to do a lot of setup for that new room and also prepare a lot of materials. But it is the most popular class in the school. Everyone wants to do it because I know I want to do the things for the students they really like.
So you've taken this baking class that is brand new that no one's ever experienced, and again had to do a lot
Mm-hmm.
of prep work that you had to do. But now it's one of the
Mm-hmm.
most popular. It's one of the most popular classes in the school for your grade. Um, can you just help a teacher out there understand who might be going through something and might be thinking, "Oh, I'd really like to do this, but man, that seems like it's hard." Like, is it worth the payoff? Like you've gotten through this thing that was hard. You had to devise a curriculum. You had to figure out, how do I engage 6 or 7 year olds
I
in a
know.
baking class? Are they going to measure? Are they going to make a mess? Like there's probably all this stuff you were
Yes.
thinking about of like, is this going to work? Right. What
Yeah,
advice might you
I
give
know.
to a teacher who maybe is in that process of like, should I try this new thing? I think it'll
Uh-huh.
be cool, but
Uh-huh.
is it worth all this work? Like you're on the other side of that. It's not the most popular class. What advice might you give to a teacher who's kind of going through that upfront work and they haven't seen the
Mm.
payoff yet?
To be honest, I will say yes. It is a lot of challenge if you want to start a new things and a lot of preparation. Um, at the beginning, for me, I think the passion is the most motivation for me. Even though I took a lot of time to do the setup at the beginning. My main thing is I think, oh, I really want to see it happens when my students, they really enjoy it. After the baking class, they will say, wow, such a fun lesson. I want to do it again. This is the most exciting moment for me. It does happen. So I will say this is the most motivation for me to do all of this preparation. And also, I think once I get familiar with everything, because now this is my third year to do this baking class, everything just went more and more smoothly, easier, as long as I get familiar with it. So sometimes when you decided to do something, I think the passion can also motivate you, and this like motivation, and I see the result is good. It's a good thing for me as a teacher in my job. Mm, I I just have the passion and
Yeah.
enjoy this part in my job.
Yeah. And are there any favorite things that you and your students have baked? What are some of the favorite finished goods that you and your kids have baked?
In my baking class, right? You mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I think yeah, there are a lot of fun things because like we when we baking things, we will see different seasoning food. For example, Christmas we do like gingerbread man, and in summer we do some ice shaving. So we add like fruit and the juice, and also some different decoration. Let me see. Also in China we have a mooncake festival, so we make mooncake in that festival. And let me see something else. Yeah. We also try to make some traditional dessert like brownie. This is the most popular one with my student, and the pizza. They always tell me, "Wow, this is my first time really make this. Such a
Mm,
fun thing. I'm gonna show my parents I can do it." Oh, one more thing is in this baking class, I started to teach the students some basic life skill like cutting and measuring. These
yeah.
basic things, it's important, right? But maybe in class, if we teach them, they feel it's boring. But in this baking class, they learn from doing, and they really learned. If they don't know how to do, they cannot bake things.
Yeah, and you're hitting on some really like, in a baking class, like if I have to cut one cucumber into 16 pieces, I'm making things up, right?
Mm,
Like, or I need 1 1/3 cups of flour. Like now we're getting into
mm,
counting,
mm.
we're getting into fractions, we're getting into,
Yes,
well, how big or how small
exactly.
do I need to cut this? We're getting into precision, we're getting into taking directions, we're getting into a whole lot of things beyond just, oh, you're just
Mm,
baking and having fun. Like, well, actually,
yeah.
there's a lot of really important skills that go into that could be in math class or could be in reading class
Yes,
or could be in
yes.
writing class. Now, take what you
Mm-hmm.
just did and now can you write the steps of what you just did so that you would have to go give it to
Yes.
somebody else, for example? Like there's a lot of little things that you could go do to make that reading, writing, arithmetic, right? A whole lot of other things that could go on
Yes,
in your
that's why I
baking
think
class.
it is
And
really meaningful. Yes.
yeah, yeah. And then you have a delicious treat at the end of the class.
Yes, yes. And other teacher also feels, wow, Miss Cici, what did you bake today? I'm so jealous. I really want to try. That's why I said I'm the most popular teacher now in my school.
That's awesome. Um,
Yeah.
well, can you paint us for those of us who maybe haven't been to China or aren't aware of
Uh,
what a class looks like? Can you paint us a little bit of a picture of like
mm,
when you walk into your classroom, like
mm,
what do you see? How many students are there? Are they all international? Are they Chinese? How many languages are
mm,
spoken? Like so when you look out at
mm.
your room, just can you give us a little paint us a picture? Like what do you see?
Okay. So because I'm now working in a international stream of a bilingual school, so our school, the whole like curriculum and the structure actually is more international, and the language we speak, we will say. 60% is English, maybe 40% is Chinese, and the student, most of the student, majority are Chinese, but we also accept some foreigner students. So and also because our school is located in a Korean town of Shanghai, so we have a lot of Korean students. That's
Mm,
very interesting. And we also have some students from different countries, and we have some teachers' kids in the school. So we still have some foreigner, but not a lot. And in our classroom, because I would say the like a whole structure is still more international. So we also have like a group work. So the tables and the chairs were arranged by groups. And the classroom has a lot of display board. We put students' work on the board to see the learning process. And we also have some poster anchor chart to remind our students some learning skills, some learning knowledge hanging on the wall, something like that. Mm.
okay, cool. And then can you also share a little bit, again, this is first grade, right? And can you share a little
Uh,
bit of like, what is a typical student? What are some of the things that they're coming in being able to do or not being able
mm,
to do? And then what are some of the expectations by the end of their first grade year that they're now able to do? Maybe in, again, reading or writing or math or something. Can you share a little bit of the evolution through the year of when your first graders
mm,
come in, what are some of the skills they
yeah.
they have or maybe they don't have, and then by the end of the year, what are you expected to be able to bring to the table so that they can have those skills by the end of your first grade year?
So academically, most of our students maybe not really can read and write. In now, because in China, with the like government also request kindergarten don't teach any knowledge content, but maybe
Oh,
some
really? Okay.
students were yes, they don't like encourage kindergarten to teach this. But some kids maybe they learned at home. The parents send them to some schools, but basically, our like expectation for the new grade one, they don't need to know reading and writing. So academically, we teach them all of this from the basic writing, started from how to trace lines and then write letters, write Chinese character with the basic strokes. And by the end of grade one, we will say we do see our students, they really progressed a lot. Like because we are doing the PYP curriculum, so we have different transdisciplinary thing. In each thing, we call it also unit to our student. We will have the inquiry based topic and integrated with this inquiry based topic. We also try to integrate English and Chinese or sometimes math with this topic. So for English, for example, our student maybe they will learn like persuasive writing and opinion writing or write a fiction, a story. Yeah, they do learn a lot through the
Geez.
whole year.
Yeah.
Mm,
And
and
your students can pretty much uh, again, if they're more Korean descent or Chinese, but they can all speak English. So can your students, for the most part, speak two languages already in first grade?
when they just come in, maybe not really fluent in both
Yeah.
language, but we encourage them to speak bilingually, two languages.
Yeah.
So yeah, most of them they can speak two languages by the end of grade one. And if we have really low students like the English so struggle, the Chinese students really struggle in English, we have pull out class in English time. So they do their small class teaching learning English. Mm.
Got it. And we kind of alluded to, hey, where do kids come in grade one, and where do you expect them to end up? But also,
Yeah.
how do you set that expectation with kind of their
Mm,
parents? And
mm,
are there times when parents maybe like, well, I want
yeah.
you to do more, or I want you to do less, or like,
Mm,
so I guess at the beginning of a new school year, how do you kind of set
yes.
an expectation with parents of, hey, here's where we're
mm,
going. Here's some of the things that we expect at the end of grade one. Here's what I'm going to
mm,
do. Here's where I could use your help. Like, how do you engage with parents, and culturally,
mm,
how does that work? Also, kind of in China versus here. Sometimes in the
yeah,
U.S., sometimes you can be like, here's what we're going to go do. Like, I expect your
uh,
partnership. Like, it can be
yes,
very direct. How do you go
uh,
about doing that with your parents, as kind of setting that stage and that expectation of
uh,
kind of what to expect and what they should expect from you, but also maybe what you
mm,
expect from them? Like, how do you go about having that conversation?
mm. Yeah. First, I will say I feel Chinese parents usually they are high demanding, especially in
Yeah.
academic area, right? Even though now our generation they still really want to see the academic result. So our parents like. Of course, they will have some expectation, and usually at the beginning of the school year, we have like parent information evening. That is the time we share all the information about what we're going to teach and what we want you to support this kind of information with parents. I feel in that information night, it's the most important chance. I tell my parents what is my expectation also and what you can see from me, what I can support you. We work with a team to help your child. I usually tell my parents like, I know it's the first year in primary school. You may worried about and a lot of things you don't sure, but please trust me. I tell them I'm very experienced and I also really care your child the same as you do. I'm also a mom, so I really understand you. So give your child and teacher a time. And we have enough communication, build a connection with each other. Any problems, just communicate with me and make sure we are on the same page. And I will try my best to help you. So I'm also very like open and like you said, very directly just talk to the parents if any problem I see and also any support I need. But there's one like key point always in my mind is I don't just tell the parents, oh, this is the problem. Like I complain, your child has this problem. Parents don't feel good if they see this. So always before I first we will usually it's like a sandwich, like a structure. When I communicate with parents, always start with something good with about this child, right? Oh, I see this boy is like has passionate with something and a good friendship with something, or adapt himself to the new environment. I see the progress. Start with the good things always, and then you see some problems, you just address it to the parents. And finally, the most important I see is you need to tell the parents what strategies you want to try or you want support from the parents. You tell them what to do, not just complain or list all the problems. That won't help. And also won't make parents to be on your like side to help you. My goal is to make sure this student work and learn well in the class. So I think of some strategy first, address it to the parents to let them know how to do because some parents they also don't know. I need to teach them. And after
Yeah.
that they feel okay, my teacher like really see my student, see my kid, I mean, and also tell me how to do. I feel supported. Mm.
And can you share also a little bit of, again, just culturally, right? Because this is an interesting, like for American teachers, oh,
Yeah.
how does that work there? Um,
Mm,
how are teachers, I guess, viewed by parents? Is it like very highly respected when you say something? People listen. Do people
mm,
push
mm,
back? And what
mm.
trends have you seen in your 14 years of teaching of kind of
Ah,
the, I don't know, I don't know the right word, status, the respect level that kind of parents get from
mm,
teachers. So like how do you feel that how do you feel that works with your parents? And what's the trend over your almost 15 years
mm.
teaching? Are you getting more
Oh,
respect,
mm,
less, about the same? Like, what's the trend that you're seeing?
mm. There is a chance, and but I will say it's not like it just happened in my like 14 years teaching. When I was a student, especially in China, teacher are really respected by parents. Like my mom always tell me, you just need to listen to your teacher. I will
Yeah.
say when I was like, yes, and everything teacher said is correct. Just listen to your teacher. So by that time, like I will say maybe 30 years ago, teacher in China is fully respected. It's an easy job. You just tell your students what to do. Now also the time changes, and like my generation, we are not like my mom's generation. We have our own mind. I think it's the same as the people in the U.S. We know we don't really trust that person. I have my own like education idea how to educate a child. So now the parents I meet, I won't say they don't respect teachers, but they have their own ideas. So for me, if I want to let parents trust me or build a connection with them, I need to show them I'm professional. I need to tell them like something I see, which is really true and helpful, useful. Let them trust you. Oh, yes, this teacher really show profession in her job. So it's like trustful teacher. I can believe her, and uh, like I just said, just always tell your parents what I want to do to help your child. Because lots of my students' parents, they are also like have a good job, well educated. Because I worked in a private school, so they usually have good background. Yes, they have a lot of their own ideas. So you really need to build a connection with them to show your profession in front of them.
Yeah, perfect. And at the that was kind of focusing more at the beginning of a school year, kind of how do you get
Mm,
the parents on your same team, how do you communicate, et cetera. At the end of a school year, and we're coming up, kind of getting close to the end of a school year here now. We're in April.
yes.
Um, how,
Yeah.
like, how are you judged? Like, how do you judge yourself at the end of a school year?
Mm,
Of kind of, did I do a good job this
mm,
year? What I say just okay? What do I want to do
mm,
more of, less of? But then also
mm,
with your school, can you share
mm,
a little bit about how that works? Of like, how are you judged or graded, or are there tests that you're expected to have your kids hit, even in first grade? So can you share a little
mm,
bit about at the end of a school year, how do you
mm,
kind of judge your performance, not just you personally for yourself, but also your
mm,
school? Like, how did they
mm,
judge or grade you or give you feedback of what to do more
mm.
of, less of, what to do better, et cetera? How does that work?
Mm. So I want to say in the past, like in China, especially in China, the main like thing to judge how the teacher's performance is the score. But now
Yeah.
it changes. First, in China, the government say in grade 1 and grade 2 we cannot have official tests. Maybe we still have tests, but like not official tests to tell the parents the score. This was not
Yeah.
allowed anymore. So we don't really have score, but yeah, we still have something. We can see the students' progress. And for me, first I will say personally, for me, I think not just to look at students like how's their performance in academic area. I also want to see first my students, their learning skills, their learning interests. I think as a teacher, this is also very important, especially for younger students. For them, the learning habits, learning interests is the most important things. I always trying to in my class try to motivate them and make them feel okay. I really like to learn, and also I help them to know how do I read, how do I write, how do I research, how do I find the answer I want. This is the basic skills they need to know. So I will say this is first part. I will assess myself, see if my students can learn these skills and have the interests. I'm I really enjoy this class. And secondly, I think as a teacher, very important is I can build a connection with my students. This is so important for me. I want to share a short story, which really inspired me. I think last year. Last year in my class, I have a young girl. She has her like a perfection list, like problems. Everything she just wants to be perfect. If she cannot do it or she met some difficulties, she just shut down totally. And that moment, she cannot do anything. I noticed that problems, and I think of I need to do something to help her. So one time when she had a conflict with a classmate, she started show her temper again. Just didn't want to talk, didn't want to say what she thinks. So I try to listen to her, and I try to help her to express her feelings. And I don't just blame her, because at that moment she also did something badly to that girl. But I don't just blame her. Oh, you do something wrong. What's wrong with you? I try to understand her. The reason why you have this behavior is because you felt you were not respected by this girl. What this girl did before to you make you feel hurt, right? I can see that moment she feels differently in front of me. She feels she was seen by me, not just I uh, want to quickly solve this problem. I want to help her. So after that things have passed, I see she see me differently, and she's more willing to listen to me. Sometimes, like when she's doing her task, she met some her problems. She feels really struggled. I trying to encourage her. She will listen. I
Yeah.
see the difference. It really inspired me. I see when you made connection with a student, it make a change. And by the end of that year, she come to me, she say, Miss Cici, I really like you. I don't want to leave your class. I want to be in your class forever. It is really touching moment for me. I see this is the meaning of being a teacher. You see you made a little bit changes with little one, and also you made a connection with this person. There's a spot in her heart, I think. It's Miss Cici. Now she's in grade 2, and every time she
That's
see me, she's
that's
so
really nice.
happy.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Um,
So I feel that moment really tells me building connection. At the end of the school year, I see, did I build connection with my students? So important.
yeah, and you hit on something there too that for first graders are at 5, 6 ish, like maybe 7 years old.
Six to
There is a
seven
part,
years old. Mm,
yeah, and there is a part of that is there's reading, writing, counting, but there is a part of this that just like how to manage emotions is a skill to
yeah.
learn also when they're that young.
Yes.
And I'll share like my little 3-year-old. Sometimes he'll say something, and maybe he'll say the right words, and he'll say please, but he'll say it mean, right? And we'll be like,
Mm,
hey, how can you say that another way? Because
yeah.
you said that kind of mean. Um,
Mm,
or sometimes at the end of the night he just doesn't want to go to bed, right?
mm,
I
mm,
don't want
mm,
to go to bed. I want to stay up and read another book or something. And sometimes he'll start
mm,
crying. And sometimes I'll ask like, hey, do you want to feel better or do you just want to keep crying? It's like, I just want to keep
mm,
crying. Okay,
mm.
that's okay. I'll sit here and wait for
Yeah.
you. You let me know when you want to feel better. Cry, cry,
Mm,
cry. Oh, okay, I'm ready to feel better now. Like, okay, all
mm,
right, come here, give me a hug. And sometimes it is just like he doesn't know the words, or he doesn't know how to manage his
mm,
emotions, and there's just a little bit of trying to help. Um,
mm.
hey, here's how that feeling feels. Here's some things I do when I feel that feeling that help me. You can
Yeah.
try these next time. And so there is some of it's just like emotional regulation, or like learning how to manage your emotions. That's a big part of that age of trying to help kids. Um, take that perfectionism that can be paralyzing and try to
Mm-hmm.
figure out like how do I get past this? Like, how do I actually,
Mm,
how do I accept that failure? So I failed, big deal. I'm going to try again. I'm going to try
yeah.
again. Like, how do we help teach kids these types of skills is also a very important part of being a teacher, which that doesn't want a test score, right? Like that's all the
Yeah.
hard
No.
stuff that there's no comprehension score for that kind of stuff, but it's also really, really
Yeah.
important stuff.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I want to say,
Um,
because I'm a homeroom teacher of
yeah,
grade 1, there are not just learning happening in this class. It's like a small society. There always something happened, conflict and problems. This is an important skills, how to regulate myself, how to solving problems, how to express myself, communicate. All of these things, a lot of students, they don't have it. So as
yeah,
a homeroom teacher, I need to teach them.
yeah, yeah. It's perfect. Thank you. Well, actually, I'm curious. Are there any? Uh, yeah, when kids are maybe being a little bit mean, or they're saying something rudely, or they're whining, whatever it is, like, are there any little tips or tricks that you try to uh you try to share with them or tell them to help
mm,
them manage those emotions, or to maybe say something more
mm,
nicely or say it more politely than the way they said it before? Are there any examples that you could share of some of that homeroom conflict
mm,
that you see, and any examples where you've tried to navigate it or manage it or help the child kind of
mm.
maybe say something differently or act differently because maybe they did
Yeah.
something that was kind of mean or rude or whatever? Like, any
Mm,
examples that
mm.
you can share?
Yes, of course. So I can share maybe three tools. The first
Mm,
one is we call the iMessage. I think it is also useful as an adult. So when you feel something maybe uncomfortably when someone do something or say something to you, you don't just complain, oh, you are so bad and I hate you. You start with me first. I feel what? Like I feel angry, I feel sad, and I feel frustrated, upset. And when you say something or do something, just express, start with yourself, and then say, I wish. Express what do you want. I always
mm,
tell my students, you don't really expect that person will really meet your expectation. Don't expect that first, but at least you express yourself. Usually, your friends, they hear you, they will change because some of them, they don't realize they said this or they did this, make you upset. So you need to tell them, but start with yourself first. Always teach them use this sentence structure. And the second tool is we call it problem solving wheels. So we have like maybe up there's a wheel, uh, different spaces, and on that space of the wheel, we have different strategies they can use when they have problems. Usually, we see people, students, the young kids, they will use to solve a conflict like rock paper scissors shoot. This is very useful. They also like it, right? And we give them other ideas. Sometimes even just to walk away, ignore it, or talk it out, or like you give yourself a time so you cool down, and or you ask for help from an adult. So we list all of the strategies they can use on that wheel, and we put it on display on the board, so the students always can go to refer to it. And when they have some problems, we will also refer to that wheel. Oh, which strategy you just used? You can share and you can practice. Yeah, they need to
yeah,
practice. When they have some problems, they practice. We guide them how to use it. Yes.
yeah,
And yes, it is very useful tool. I think it's like we need to we use the traffic light, red,
mm,
yellow, and green light, right? So because usually when the students they have some conflict with others, they have their emotional moment, they need to cool down first. So we remind them, think of the traffic light. You are in the red light. You cannot really do something or say something. Usually the thing you do is not good choice. So
yeah,
just stop and deep breathe, cool yourself down. And once you feel you are totally cool down, you are ready, you can make your decision. So we
yeah.
use the traffic light to remind them, make a good choice. Mm.
Yep. And you just shared before that, a really proud moment of last year, with
Mm.
the perfectionist girl, and kind of
Yeah, that
then,
girl, yes.
helping
Yes.
her, and
Mm.
then having her say, I want you to teach me for forever, which is really nice.
Mm.
And I'm curious for other stories after almost 15 years in the classroom. Anything
Mm.
stand out to you of, wild, crazy, I can't believe that happened. Oh my gosh, that student said that. That was so funny. They thought it meant this, but it really meant this. So can you share any other stories you've had over 15 years teaching that are just wild, funny, crazy, memorable, that are worth sharing? I'm sure after 15 years, there's probably a lot that you
Yes.
probably have already forgotten, but there's probably some really good ones. Anything that you can
Yeah,
share?
there are a lot of stories. Yes, now I'm very experienced with the special needs students. Every year, I will have special needs students. Maybe they have ADHD or ODD or autism or some learning difficulties. This kind of special needs. So yeah, and I have the all of the special and the memorable story with them. I can share one story this year. I have a boy. Yeah, he has both diagnosed as both ADHD and ODD. So He cannot control himself, and also he's easily get angry. This caused a lot of problem. For example, in break time, he just has some small, tiny little things make him angry. So he hit other students.
Mm.
After he did that, he knows that's not okay, but he also feel guilty, feel shame. He gets more angry to himself. Um, Usually, yeah, we will do a reflection paper with this kind of behavior. Because that day, I remember he just in 20 minutes break time, he did two or three bad choice. So I instead of just let him wrote a reflection sheet, actually usually he will refuse to do it. He don't feel he wants to do it. Also he feel guilty. So he use his temper to refuse to do it. So after he cooled down, because at first he gets so angry, I said, you cannot go to the next lesson, which is art lesson. I remember I said, you need to stay in the classroom. You need to reflect with me. He gets so angry, but I try to keep myself cool down, use a peaceful tone, talk to him. I say, you need to cool down first. Then Miss Cici will talk to you. After maybe 10 minutes, finally, he cooled himself down. He talked to me. He said, okay, fine. I can talk to you. So I just trying to let him reflect what he did. And I tell him, maybe instead of I reflect what I did, I think of what I can do differently next time. So I let him make a poster about how to play safely in break time, a poster. So he did that poster, and I also put this poster in the classroom, put it up on the wall to let him to introduce this poster to the whole class. I can see he feels when he's presenting his poster, he feels good because this is a chance let him to introduce it and also helped him to think of how to do play safely with my friends. Mm, I always feel with this special needs students, instead of maybe we say something bad, blame on them or punish them, I think of do something to help them, tell them what to do. Maybe I will see next time because he has ADHD, he still will hit others. But at least he can see there's a teacher wants to help him, do something with him. That moment, maybe, one time will help to him. I don't know, but I just feel I want to do something to teach him, help him to guide him to the correct direction. And also, I started to write more positive notes to my students. This is also happened when my kid now, he is 8 years old. When he was a young boy, I always write some good notes, use the sticky post, right? Sticky notes to stick on the wall. Say, oh, David, you did this. I'm so proud of you. Something like that. And one day, my son told me, he said, Mama, the positive notes you wrote for me, it really means a lot to me. It's better
Mm.
than the gift you bought for me. Because when I read this post, I feel I'm good. I memorize what I did that day. I think I'm so good. So this really inspired me. So I started to do this in my class as well. So we have a parent communication book. Every day the students take the homework list. So I started to write some notes. If I see some good moment of my student or the student make progress, I just write a short notes. It really changes. Our students, they are so happy when they see teacher wrote a note, and the parents also so happy. And then the students made progress. They see teacher give them compliment. They just want to be more and more good. They just want to be better. It's motivated and a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yeah, positive reinforcement is a powerful thing.
yes.
So often we get caught up in only talking when something's bad. Don't do that. Oh, you screwed up this up again. And sometimes we forget of uh, I don't know if rewarding is the right word, but just saying good job when they do a good job. Sometimes we focus so much
Yes.
on the negative, we forget to appreciate the
Mm.
positive.
Yes, I always believe human beings always want to be good, even this is a problem kid. there's always a reason, like unmet needs behind the problem behavior. So we want to like seek for it and try to fix it or see what is lacking. I want to fix that problem or see that problem, help him.
Yep. And thanks so much for sharing
Mm,
that. And a couple more quick hitter
mm,
rapid fire questions as we get close to wrapping up here. Um,
mm.
uh, Number one, like if you
Okay.
could go back and give yourself advice based on what you know now, if you could go back to your first year in teaching and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Okay, I will say, Cici, this young girl, please just remember to insist what you are doing. Maybe you doubt yourself at the beginning. Please remember, just continue to do what you are doing now. You will be the good one.
And what to you is the hardest thing or the worst thing about being an educator or a teacher? Or to ask that another way, if you had a magic wand and could change one thing overnight, where would you point that wand? What's one thing you wish you could change?
I wish I could have less work because now we have so many different kind of things except teaching.
Yep, understood.
Yes.
Get some of the administrative stuff so you can actually focus on being with your students.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
if there was if there was one or two things that you wish you could share with a parent or the public at large who maybe has never
Mm.
been a teacher or has never been an educator, what's one or two things that you wish they knew about this profession that they probably don't since they've never actually done it?
I want to say to the parents, your respect and your appreciation really matter a lot
Mm,
as a teacher because teacher really has a lot of work to do. So I hope the parents can understand us. Sometimes just give us some time and more respect for to teachers. That is so important.
mm. And last question: is there anything that you were hoping to share that we just didn't have a chance to talk to here today, or anything that you want to
Mm.
reshare or restate because it's so important that it's just worth saying again? So, any new or repeated final words of wisdom or words of advice for educators out there?
I want to say because I've been a teacher for 14 years. So I think the most important thing for me to motivated me to continue this job is I can really make connection with a human being, a little one. And as a teacher, I really see my student and respect my student, supporting them, and then I can see the change, a difference on my little ones. I think that is the most meaningful part in this job. Mm.
Yep. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing your real stories from a real educator from across the world. Thank you so much
Mm.
for sitting down and talking with us. Appreciate you.
Thank you. I can I say last sentence?
Yeah.
So I will also say, so thank you for inviting me for this podcast. First, this is my first experience for recording a podcast. I like to do the new things. And also I feel this is a really like nice experience for me to recall my 14 years teaching experience and also remind me my original heart as a teacher. I know who I am. I know why I still continue to do this job because something really matters to me and I see the meaningful part in my life. That's it.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you, and good luck continuing to bring
Mm,
new and fun experiences to your students, like baking, that are teaching not just
yeah.
how to make a good brownie, but also really important life skills. So, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yes. Thank you, you too.